So picture this. You just spent like 47 minutes researching a prospect.
Right, totally. Yeah.
Digging through their LinkedIn, scanning press releases, maybe listening to some podcast interview their VP did. And then you get on the discovery call, and 10 minutes in, the prospect asks some basic question about their buying committee structure.
Oh, man, the worst.
Yeah, you just stumble. The whole conversation just grinds to this really awkward halt.
Which is exactly what we're looking at today in our deep dive. Because the research shows that 73% of B2B buyers say reps are just completely unprepared for their first conversation.
Wait, 73%?
Yeah, nearly 3/4. And the crazy thing is, it is usually not a lack of data. Like, they have the data. It's just how that data is being processed.
Right, which is our mission for this deep dive today. We are looking at this article on the account intelligence maturity model, and the goal is to help you transform all that endless research into actual, revenue-generating insights.
Exactly, because just doing surface-level research right now, it's a trap.
It really is. It's like studying for a history test by, memorizing the font of the textbook. You know what I mean? You are putting in all this work, but absorbing completely the wrong details.
I love that analogy. And to stop absorbing the wrong details, the first step is really recognizing the core difference between information and intelligence. I mean, information is passive.
Right.
But intelligence, that's your unfair advantage.
Okay, so break that down for me. If I notice a company just hired a new chief revenue officer, that's just information.
Right, exactly. It's just a fact on a page. But let's say you realize that new CRO spent the last 5 years at a company that uses your direct competitor's solution.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and then you see they actually criticized that solution in a LinkedIn comment 6 months ago. Now that is intelligence.
Because it gives you a specific angle to approach them.
Precisely. And that distinction, that's the whole backbone of the maturity model. Because most teams, they get permanently stuck at level 1, which is surface reconnaissance, or maybe level 2.
Level 2 is stakeholder mapping, right?
Yep. Stakeholder mapping. They draw out the org chart and think, well, the job is done because we know who sits in what seat.
Right, but just knowing who is in the room doesn't actually tell you why they would buy anything today.
Exactly. So to move to level 3, which is signal-based intelligence, or even level 4, predictive intelligence, teams have to stop staring at static org charts. You have to start looking for behavioral triggers, the catalyst that actually forces a purchase.
Okay, I get that, but I have to push back a little here. The challenge there is scalability.
Oh, for sure.
Because trying to monitor every single executive's offhand comments or tracking behavioral triggers across 50 different accounts, that sounds impossible. You would never actually have time to pick up the phone.
No, you are totally right, and that is the classic trap of level 3. But to avoid drowning in data, top performers use this really specific filtering system. It's called the RAPID framework.
The RAPID framework, what does that stand for?
So instead of looking at everything, they scan for 5 things. R stands for revenue triggers. So instead of reading every single press release, you just look for events that threaten the company's revenue.
Like a missed earnings target or something.
Exactly, or a new competitor entering their space.
So you filter the noise by only searching for the pain points.
Yes, exactly. So the rest of RAPID is authority mapping, priorities alignment, incumbent solutions, and then the big one, deal blocking dynamics.
The deal blocking dynamics, that really flips the traditional model upside down, I feel like.
Oh, completely. Because the sources point out that top performers, they do not just use intelligence to find a reason to sell.
Right.
They actually use it to aggressively disqualify accounts.
Wait, so they're looking for reasons to walk away?
Yes. If you find out a prospect just signed a 3-year contract with your biggest competitor 6 months ago, or they're going through a massive internal restructuring, you just walk away.
Wow. And for you listening right now, just think about how that applies to your own workflow. It is honestly a masterclass in valuing your own time. Knowing exactly when to say no prevents you from burning 30 hours on a deal that was dead on arrival.
Exactly. But then, walking away from those doomed deals means you suddenly have all this free time.
Right. So what do you actually do with it?
Well, the sources tackle that next. They look at the 2026 tech stack, and the answer is this hybrid approach.
Meaning AI handles the grunt work?
Basically, yeah. AI takes over the brute force data aggregation. It analyzes the quarterly earnings calls. It synthesizes your news alerts.
And while the AI does all that heavy lifting, We humans have to take over the relationship intelligence.
Exactly. And this works even for those super secretive private companies where data is practically non-existent.
Because you don't actually need a leaked internal memo if you know how to read the public signs.
Exactly. Like the example they give about job postings is so good. Let's say your AI scrapes a private company's job board and sees they're suddenly hiring 6 new sales reps.
Right, to an AI that's just raw data.
Yep. But a human looks at that massive hiring spree and instantly understands, oh, they now have a huge gap for sales enablement tools.
Because the human gets the internal pain that rapid growth creates.
Yeah,
The AI just spots the pattern.
exactly. But the human interprets the meaning for the actual people inside the building.
Which really leaves us with a final thought to ponder here. If AI is going to handle all the data synthesis and the information gathering for us, will the most successful professionals of the future need to operate less like data analysts and much more like psychologists?
That is the real question.
So the next time you sit down to prep for a meeting, don't just memorize the font of the textbook. Look for the human signals behind the data.